All right, guys, so we're back to the build. This is the front end of the car. Using my new gimbal, so folk, work with me here. I'm still learning it. But let me pin it down here. So this is, we're gonna start off the front end of the car. I mean, listen, you're gonna have to take a lot of what you guys learned from the rear end. Like, as far as the build goes, like, the differential is the same, obviously. We're not going to go through all of that. The only thing I do want to talk to you about is the fact that we used a locker here in the front, really. That's the only difference, And these cups are the GTB cups. I like these cups better. These are the original ones. This is the original housing. These are lightweight, but I've broken them before with lockers, and I don't know if you could see the difference there, but the difference is these are a hell of a lot stronger and beefier, you know what I mean? So I like them. I put them on all my cars. I change out the stock ones, I just chuck them, but that's the difference here. This is the front end housing. We're running a locker. We're going to use the GTB cups. I like them better. And then I'm going to throw this aside now to the spare parts. Oh, something just went flying. Next thing I want to show you about the front end is, the steering. All right. So this is your normal, the steering and all that good stuff. Now, I want to show you guys something here. So, the acronym, right? As you can see, it's like this, right? So you can see how it's bent up and facing the way it faces, right? What I do on my cars is this acronym blocks out the access to the grub screw on right here. So it blocks that out so that you can't get to it straight up and down. You know what I mean? So what I do is I flip this around like this. You see the difference? See how it's facing there and it's facing here? Once you flip this around, it then gives you access to that grub screw straight through the top, So that's just like a little tip to, hopefully I'm getting this in the right view here. Oh my God, am I holding that thing out of view the whole time? Hopefully not. Let me see here. Pan up a little bit. All right, so go over this one more time just in case I missed it. Acronym facing this way, acronym then facing the other way, gives you access through the top. All right, so those are the two things I want to talk about with the steering. On this one, you could either file down the head of the screw the teeniest bit, or you can countersink it, one or another. If I have my countersink out, I'll countersink it. But 9 times out of 10, I just shave down the top of the screw with a little bit of sandpaper, and that's all it takes. Also, we are running the brace. That's why you see that I'm flipped around the other way. Doing it this way allows for all maximum room of the batteries. If you're running a dual or something, this is force of habit, because sometimes I change my singles over to duals. Maybe I'll grow into them, So I flip it this way, and it works really well because it runs all this under the brace. Everything still steers and functions the same. It's all the same, just it's just out the way, So instead of it being that way, as you can see, sticking out to the side, I stick it out and run it down the top of the how do you call it, drive shaft. So that's that. I just wanted to show you these couple things. Our hubs, only difference we did there was we swapped them out for ceramic bearings. No big change there. We are gonna run the 5.3s. I put these on all my cars. Got to. These even fit in the back. If you want to run them in the back, you can. What else? We already finished the shocks, so we did that on the last video. The front bumper, this is how I do my front bumpers. I will cut this plastic out because this is where I place my GPS. There's a little carbon bridge that goes here. Let me see if I got one handy. do. Alright. So, Savora from Saga Customs makes these braces. They go right here. So after you remove all this, you got a little bit of wiggle. But now, with that carbon there, dude, that thing ain't moving at all. There's no way you can. These posts, I get them from Power Hobby. I was looking for these for a very long time. These are very important. I have them on the rear. I think we went over them, and the front. Dude, get these. You don't realize how important these are. What happens is when your car flips over, you file down the plastic ones like butter. I mean, dude, they don't stand a chance against asphalt. And then what happens is your body rips off. Now you're taking on all kinds of damage. You know, it's just bad. So the best thing you want to do is dealing with these high-speed cars is keep that body on as best as you can, dude. And when we get to that body part, we'll go over all that stuff too. But these are preventative measures for, you know, things that people get overlook, but, you know, super important if you want to salvage your car, dude. Let the force get beaten on the body in these. That's cheap, you know. We could fix that, you know, for less than 150 bucks, you know. But when you destroy the electronics, or, you know, scrape your batteries, cause a fire, yada yada, it destroys the car. And you know, these are preventative measures to letting that happen. So get metal posts if you can. If you can, get them. It don't matter what car. If you can get metal posts, get them, and you're speed running. So that's that, you know, and I'll tuck my GPS in there, and it's taped to this little bracket. And then when, you know, I'm done my run, I want to go to a different car, I just grab my GPS and I slide it on to the next car. It's super simple. I'm not strapping the thing down, taping it, doing all this crazy stuff. You know, it's just, it works, you know. So things like that are just being like efficient. So what we're going to do is we're going to get into the rest of the build right now. We're going to finish this up. I pretty much got a lot of this broken down already. I'm going to fast forward through a lot of this, of just me putting stuff together. There's no need for you to see that. You're not missing anything. When it comes to like shimming something or something like that, then we'll stop and we'll go from there. So let's, I'm going to pause this video just to make sure that everything is in a clear shot, and then we're going to jump right back into the build. All right, guys, thank you. All right, so we're going to jump back into it. Shots look okay, manageable. Glad I caught that one earlier because you guys couldn't see what the hell I was talking about. All right, so we're going to put this all together, finish up breaking these couple little things down, and that's it. I don't care about using ceramics in the post side. I don't necessarily like them there. I rather use the steel ones. They're fine. They're just as smooth, and they don't really break when you take a hard hit. So I don't mind using them there. So as far as this goes, while we're putting this together here, I'm going to be fumbling stuff around a lot because the front end's pretty goofy like that, you know. So just bear with me. And when it comes to this front end, what I'm doing right now is I'm checking to see how much space is there. And then all I'm gonna do with that space is I'm gonna grab washers and I'm gonna fill it in with washers. I don't like using those little plastic spacers very much. And what I do here is I'll usually use 6 washers each, which sucks because I'm gonna have to find some washers. And I'll put 3 in the front, 3 in the rear. If it calls for 1 more, I'll put one more in the rear. All right, so what I did here, since I couldn't find a washer, I just stuck one of these extra bearings in there as a spacer. It's not like, you know, ideal, but it works. So that's where we're at there with that. Nice and tight. So, like I said, 3 washers in the front, 3, or in this case, a steering bearing. They're not gonna move. I mean, it's not like ideal what you would want to do. If you got this, just checking them and making sure. But yeah, they're sturdy. It's spaced out right. So if you got the washers, use them for sure. What is going on here? What am I doing? Having brain fart moments. Oh, another thing I wanted to tell you when we got to it. This screw right here, this grub, if you got the right one, well, my thing won't reach, but what I'm doing here is sanding it down. And what we want to make sure that after it's sanded, that it's not touching, and it's not now. Super important. I don't always have those grub screws, you know what I mean? So, I don't know if this screw will fit in there either. Oh, wait a minute, hold on. Pop that out of there. Grab one of these. Drop that guy in there. Tighten her down. I like all the, I guess you call them cap heads or button head? No, cap head, I think. I like these screws. I think they're just easier to deal with. They don't strip out as, I don't think I've ever stripped one out actually. So, there we go. Just like this. One's flipped right, that one's flipped right. All right, so now we're going to drop in the rear pins. These ones usually only take 1 washer, depending on how loose it is, but usually it's 1 washer. So we'll see. And the best way to see if it's going to be loose or not is clip it on like that and make sure that it's seated correctly. That feels good. That feels good. Because when you tighten it down, it's going to pinch it a little bit, and that's okay. All right, get a couple screws here. Sorry guys, I wasn't really fully ready for this. I got a lot going on work-wise, and it's been a long week, seriously. And I'm trying to get this stuff done so that we can get to all the juicy stuff, the stuff that nobody ever shows, kind of thing, you know. All right, so there's our new front end, looking pretty good, looking fancy, all shimmed good, no slack between there, but still functioning. Now there's a little bit of tension on here. That's what you want, just that little bit of tension, because then you know everything's nice and solid where it needs to be. See how that is? It drops. I don't know if you can see that on video. That's how much tension you want on it. You don't want it to be like bam, because that's too loose. You want to hold it up and just let it fall down smoothly. Boom, done. So that's how you want your front end shimmed. And the front end is definitely way more important for that kind of stuff than the rear end. Then we just take our, I build them all together, much easier like this to buy it, put your arms on there, yada, yada. You can work on it easily. You're not trying to get a screwdriver in everywhere and just pure chaos. So then we just stick those under there like so. Grab our 2 screws. What you got, bud? Oh, Andrew's calling me? All right. I'm going to have to pause this video for 1 second, guys. All right, sorry, guys. I got a little phone call there. All right, so then you just tighten these down. So this is probably the most efficient way of doing it. All right, so now we got that. We got everything all tightened up. Everything's good to go where it needs to go. And then we are going to take our 2 20 millimeters. If you're using GPM turnbuckles, you can use, these are 20 millimeters. Stock ones are not long enough for this one. Hey man, listen. One of the guys commented the other day. He said, "There's no shame in your game." I'll tell you what, boy, there ain't. I'll fuck up. And you just witnessed it publicly. Supposed to be a pro at this, you know what I mean? All right, so now we're back in there, nice and smooth. Now this is why I like shave that down a little bit. It would hit, you know. So you could do it that way. So I don't really like countersinking them. I feel like I'm like messing the integrity up of the metal itself. But I could, you know, I could be over evaluating that for sure. Next, all we're gonna do is put our little hexes back in. Bing, and that's it. That'll sum it up for the front end. It's a lot easier. It's more of like just putting stuff together. And don't forget to take your grubs out of your stock ones. So the 5.3s do not come with the grub screw in there. That is in your stock axle. So snatch that bad boy out of there. And you can even run these, you know, like I was saying in that video I just made. I don't know, maybe not everybody's seen it, but we're changing the name and all that good stuff, because this is like more of a serious build where you don't necessarily need all this for a beginner's build. But like I was saying also in the video, I feel that making a strong, really like reliable car will keep your focus where it needs to be. You know what I mean? All right. Now, these turnbuckles ain't adjusted, so there's like a lot of crazy toe right now. We're not going to focus on that until the car's actually set up. But there's a little bit of play in here, more than I like. See that? That's a good bit. You don't need that much. We do want it to be a little better. That's just a little too much there. So what we can do later on is shim that out. And, you know, I'll show you how to do all that. It's pretty simple. You can either take the hex off, put it on the outside here, or do it on the inside. I like to do it all on the inside. Just easier for me, I think. Not at the moment, like, but when I'm on out there and I'm like, you know, maybe I have to take these off because I just crashed and scraped them up real bad or something, then it's like I'm not screwing with the shimming of it actually, you know. I'm just replacing that part and where the shim will be on the inside, you know. All right, so then we just pop on our shocks. Everything from here is pretty straightforward. Same thing applies with this shocks that I do on the rear end, with them putting that washer and screw on there so that they don't pop off. And we're getting ready to do that right now. Trying to see if I actually have any extra ones laying around. I'm sure I do, but I'll have to dig for them. for now, since this is a speed run car, we're gonna favor it being on the front end, being on the lower side. This is a good day for this like video because it's snowing out here. Supposed to be a good bit of snow today too. So wham bam, there's your front end in all its glory. Pretty, you know. All right. So we're starting to get into all the good stuff now. The good stuff is coming. All right, so we see that's where that all goes. What I'm going to do is I'm going to attach this off camera. You guys don't really need to see that. It's not that important. But we're going to get this attached. I am going to adjust this toe just a little bit just to get these straight so that once we get the car on a road or on a platform for its break-in, then we can, you know, go from there. So I'm going to screw this down and then we'll get right back to it. All right, now all I did here that you didn't get to see on camera was just bolted this down to the chassis. That's it. Then we put the motor mount on. This is your typical scorched roto-lock, nothing special there. Next thing we're going to get into is doing the shafts. Now let me tell you something here. I freaking love these shafts. When it comes to the drive shafts, I went through them all. I really did, man. I went through titanium, heavy steel, stock, it just all of them. And I constantly was bending them. That's it, really. I was constantly just bending them. And it sucked, man, because, you know, then they turn around, they whack your batteries or whatever the hell. They're a pain in the ass, if you ask me. I don't like metal shafts at all. Listen, fast race cars and, you know, in all kinds of motorsports nowadays are using carbon fiber drive shafts. And it's for a reason, dude. It's lightweight, one. It's strong as all hell. And the main part for me is vibration. Dude, you don't realize how much, you know, vibration can kill mile per hour. It's a lot, dude. It really is. And the less you have, the better. And, you know, don't get me wrong. A lot of it comes from your tires, believe it or not. That's where, like, I don't know, you're pretty much all of it comes from your tires, other than the drive shafts and axles. So, just work with me here while I'm going to be talking and working at the same time here, but I'll be explaining what I'm doing. I should have been more, what do you call this? What the hell am I trying to say? I ain't got no words today, guys. I'm telling you, my words are just gone. I think my brain is just so fried from the work week. It really is. But, I forget what I was even talking about. That's how bad this is. Yeah, so the drive shafts, man, carbon fiber drive shafts, it's the way to go, dude. All race cars nowadays are putting them in there. I mean, these things are just absolutely stunning. And the big thing is centrifugal force, right? Since they're so light that they spin, you know, spinning them so fast, there's not a lot of vibration. There's not a lot of mass to throw around. Now, you know, there's some, you know, physics. You know, you can get these guys in here that have all this crazy physics stuff, and they'll tell you, you know, well, if it's center mass and it's still spinning, it's no different than something spinning light to heavy. But it is, because these things ain't precision made steel and titanium and carbon. They're not precision. Like, they come, you know, they do a really good job at making them really good, but they're not being built to a precision where, you know, that wouldn't matter. You know what I mean? These are RC parts, dude. These companies, they're not getting that far into depth with them to produce tolerances of, you know, 10,000ths or whatever they call it. I don't even know. But the fact of the matter is, yes, like, you know, maybe this weight thing wouldn't matter if things were made way more precise. And I'm talking like medical instrument precise, like, you know, whatever special equipment precise. But that's not the case here. So what we have are carbon shafts now that work better because of not having all that precision. And, you know, I don't know, quote me if I'm wrong, but it's just, I've broken these before too, but it took a hell of a beating to break them, you know, and a lot of times it wouldn't even break. It would just be the glue would just separate, or however the hell it's made in there. But I'll tell you what, man, I was on Raz's ass about these because I don't like running cars without them. I really don't. That's how much they matter to me, and it's something special. This is something special for sure, man. I'm a huge fan for sure. And you know, as you can see here, there's been some, you know, what do you want, how can I word this, you know, bickering, I guess, from back and forth. But I'll tell you what, man, I stay out of that shit, because I all the scorched stuff on here, I love it, dude. All the perfect pass stuff on here, I friggin' love it. I stand on both of them. I think they both can make quality, great products. And these servos I use from Raz, the shafts I use from Raz, the launch control I use from Raz, I get my GPM and Castle stuff from Raz. I love it. I'm completely happy customer. And then I come over and I get the rest of it that I need from Scorched and Saga. Now, all my Hobao stuff, I get it all from Saga. And then Scorched, he just makes some, you know, he's got some innovation here, man. He really, David puts a lot into these parts, man. He really does. Dude, Rotolock, I ain't nothing touching that thing, man. This is the baddest motor mount on the face of the planet, yes, man. I love this thing, dude. So, and the carbon, the chassis, man. See, David covers a lot on the Hobao, and I'm grateful for it, man. I really am. I love these. This one I just bought, but normally David makes me my own, and they're 5mm custom, and because I don't like the holes and stuff, so he just gives me a slab, and I make my own holes in it, you know. But man, the way he levels out the drive shaft and everything with the chassis, it's just he's on to detail, and I like that kind of stuff. But you know, back and forth with it, man. Listen, Perfect Pass and Scorch, man. You know, I like both of the products that I get from them. It's awesome. So moving on back to the build, though, I just want to get that over there, get that out of the way. So what we're gonna do is we're putting our shafts on. So this is, I guess, where we can talk about some gearing. All right, so we've got the 4090 1620. I checked it out. I put it on the analyzer and ran it. I like it. Let's see what it does. It's a little amp hungry, you know, so not like my top choice for sure if it got down to it. But 1620 4090, we're gonna run it. Clearly, I never ran this one. I ran the 1650 stock one, like I guess you could say, like stock motor from TP, not a CM, not a SVM, but the 1650 was like just the normal TP motor, you know what I mean? And it did really good numbers. So I'm gonna try this one, see how it works. We're all gonna try it together. But based off of this, I'm going to, now listen, let's talk about this actually, because this is walking into grounds where a lot of craziness can happen with these cars, right? So one thing, or hold on one sec, guys, just work with me here for a second. I'm going to run a 31 spur. Now, guys, listen to me right now. Don't do this, you know. I'm doing this because I know how to run such excessive gear. I run my cars on pure power. I don't do the RPM thing. It's not me. You know what I mean? So this is how I run my cars. This is the reason why I build them so tough. You know, they're getting put through some serious work, and that's no bullshit. So, you know, I wouldn't say start off like this. I'm starting off like this because I just know where I would run a 1600 kV motor. So it's nothing for me to put this on there. But for you, this could mean blowing up your system. You know what I mean? So take that into consideration. If you guys plan on building a build just like this, really take that into consideration. I'm telling you this right now. So the one thing I want to do is I like to run my gearing on my spur as close as... Wait a minute, did I put the two thin ones on there? I think I did. Okay, so let me tell you something about these Perfect Pass packets here. It comes with two thin ones, and then it comes with... the rest of them are thicker. I can't even tell you where the other thin one went. I don't know what the hell I did with it, but oh well. So I'm going to put 3 of the thicker ones on there. Yeah, 3 of them. And then I'm going to put my gear on. Saga gears, always for me. And then I'm going to feel it out like this. I'm going to put the bearing in there. I'm going to see, making sure it has all the clearance. You know, like it's not going to hit the face of the motor mount. Because I like to run my gears back as far as I can on the shaft. So, yeah, that's that right there. So what we're doing is just building the spool. And we're going to use blue Loctite on that. And listen, if I could run red on everything, I would. But the fact of the matter is, I don't know this motor, and I don't know how it's going to react. So I may be changing the gear, and that's something that we're going to all be doing together, you know, in the field. You're going to follow this car from start to finish. It's going to be a series on this car, and you're going to see it all straight up. So there are going to be a lot of fast guys after this series, I'll tell you that. You're going to have a lot of understanding of how things work. But that's a good thing, man. Listen, you're gonna move this forward. You still gotta have skill as a driver to do it, guys. Don't go in there all gun ho, because I'm telling you right now, we are making an extremely fast car. And it's just a single motor. I'm not doing it with the duals to you guys because it's just dangerous, you know. I'm only gonna do the single for this because, you know, I'll tell you what I'm running as a dual motor car and, you know, yada yada, and we can go over all that stuff when we're actually running. But I'm not going to build a dual car with you guys because they're just ridiculously fast. And there is so much more to learn running a single motor car. Just so much more. You could really learn a lot from this. The fact of the matter is, you really need to start here, to be honest. And what I'm doing right now is just loading a couple of these on there to get a feel for if it's loose enough or not. I like a little bit of play between these bearings. Just a little bit of movement, you know what I mean? Like we all talked about before. Well, I don't like doing things too tight, only where it matters. And here, I want to run it with a little play in it, you know? I don't like things binding up that are taking on a mechanical, serious role, I guess you could say. Now, the cups I always do red Loctite on the cups. So let me just feel this out. I want to make sure that, yeah, you see that? Look, that's what I want. I want just that teeny bit of movement right there. A little click, 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 like you're meshing your gears, you know? That's about how much space you want there. So that's nice. I like that there. That may actually even change realistically because once you like start putting the center cap on, these sometimes like close up a little bit, I noticed. And we got some binding here. Okay, so it looks like for some odd reason, with the motor mount, the grub screws are hitting. So what we're going to do is I'm going to file these down real quick off camera. That's what it was. I'm tripping. I must have not had it lined up in the holes on the shaft. Ha! Craziness. All right. So now that's done. Get the hell in there. There we go. Bam! All right. Good deal. All right, now we're back on track again. Yeah, man, so that's pretty much that, right? Slap this cap on there. Bam! And it's beautiful. We have an operating car. So, yeah, we're going to get into the electronics now, I guess. I got a couple holes I got to drill for like an XLX2 motor mount. So we can do that. I mean, that's pretty straightforward. We don't really need to do that. But yeah, man, there's your car right there. And then all we're gonna do from here is pop the brace on, you know, put the servo mount on. I don't do that to the very end because I want to zero the servo out and then I hook it up. You know what I mean? So we're gonna get into all the fine tuning stuff for once we get the electronics on and we start getting farther. There's like, you can't really adjust certain things. Right now, we're just focused on the rough end, getting all the stuff on there. So, yeah, that's where we're at right now. I'm going to pause this video, take a quick break, and then we're going to jump into the electronics. All right? All right, guys. I want to show you something here with the splitters. These are meant for ARMAs, but if you... I don't know if you could see that on there, but what I did was I scratched a line. What you want to do is follow this joint per se straight up, and then where this line will intersect it, that's where you cut off, right? I'll show you. Just like that. So you end up with it looking just like this. All right, so that's how you would cut that right there. Peel off a little bit of extra, and then that's done. Screw your little piece on, however you want to do it. Like that. Now, as far as this, the rear end of it, this little piece of plastic, all you're doing is cutting. You're going to leave about 1/8 there, and then cut it from the points. So this comes up to a point right there. So then you'll, when it comes up to that point, just cut it straight down, all right, till it's only about that thin. It's still strong enough, and this holds it on anyway. It's just really for the pins. You know, you want to keep that pin area so it doesn't, you know, make your pin slide. And then, like I said, the bumper, you would do all that. So, like, these 3 things I would do all at once. So, real quick, we will actually install them. Just grab any screw here to fit in there because it really doesn't matter. It's just closing up that little spot right there. I like to use this piece. I'm sure you can use the flat one or anything else. I don't see if it makes a difference or not. I think it's just for looks, to be honest, you know, but closing it up isn't for looks. That's matters. All right, first you start with this piece, actually. Stick that right here in the back. Get that bad boy on. It'll look like that, right? It's just for the pins, really. Then we get our diffuser, put the screws in it. And like I said, sometimes you gotta like work it in there because it's a little tough. There we go. And then push it in there. Let that bad boy snap in. Bam. And then it usually ends up looking like that. So from there, we would start installing all the screws for that so that we don't knock out the nuts. So then you got your splitter on, your diffuser, your splitter, the rear part, your splitter, and then this is when we would drop this on there, and then we'll have ourselves a complete roller. Bam, just like so. And that thing's just ready to go from that point. I usually, like I said, I like to do everything by hand, but it's okay to get it all started with a drill. Just don't like crank it down, dude. It's just not needed at all. Bam, she's looking pretty already. I love it. All right, on to the electronics for real now. Guys, so this is like my little soldering station and shrink wrap, heat shrink, or whatever the hell you call it. This is where I do all that kind of stuff. I keep my solder and my core heat shrink up there, and I just pull it down as I need it. So when you see it in the video, that's what you're gonna be seeing there. So just getting set up for that, and some stuff ready here. So basically we got our motor, right? Oh, where are we going here? Are we veering off? Let's see. Come on, girl, come back. There you go. So we got our motor there. Let me make sure everything's in shot. Good. All right, cool. So basically all I do here when we're soldering, spread them out a little bit. I get a pair of vice grips and pinch down on the bullets, always leaving the hole exposed. You don't want to do it like too tight to where you bend it. So this is how I solder. Everybody's got their own little way, and I just filled a cup a little bit. All right, and then I take the motor, I let it sit on the soldering iron to get a little heat on it, you know, because if you go to try to dunk it right in off the bat, it will splash. So what I try to do is heat it up a little bit and then start filling it. So once it's filled, you'll keep going. And I'll show you this all the second we're done here. All right. So what you're left with is a little bit came out that hole, but what I do right there as long as it doesn't hit the actual bullet, I'll just roll it down. But as far as the bullet filled, that's it. That's all that's there. And sometimes, if I don't feel that there's enough, or I'm going to be running a high kV motor, I'll put extra solder. Because when you have a lot of amps, you need more solder. This one, it's a little amp hungry, like I said, so I'm going to add a little bit more solder to it, just to ensure our bullet stays on there good. So I like that one. Every time I solder, it makes my nose run. So I'm going to go ahead and do these ones. Bam. All right, so that's soldered. Like I said, you can clean them up if you want, but I don't see that as being too bad. And then I like to cut like about a 1/2 inch. This is marine grade heat shrink, and it has like a glue in it, and it's like waterproof in it, really. Like, but it's really good in RC because it's strong, it can take the heat, and it's waterproof, so. Let's see, I'll hit the remote here, bam. I don't want you guys to launch a car that fast, not being familiar with it, you know what I mean? Like, that's pretty dangerous. But if you are experienced in driving dual motor cars and stuff like that, then this would be right up your alley. Because I plan on sending this thing off the rip, you know? I'm kind of already aware of temperatures and stuff like that with this series motor, so it's not that big of a deal for, hold on, what did I do? It's not that big of a deal for me to like just throw it on there and see what happens, because I kind of already know what's gonna happen. Like, I don't want to make you think that I've like, you know, we're doing something that I've done before, because honestly, I've never ran this motor, and I've only ran one motor like it, really, and that was the 1650, and even then, that's just a normal motor. That's nowhere's even near like it. It sounds like it would be, but it ain't. I'll tell you that right now. From CM to SVM to just the normal stock motors, they're very, very far apart in how they handle, how they react, and all that good stuff. Me, personally, I'm an SVM fan all the way. Yeah, hint, hint, you know what I mean? I like the SVM motors, dude. That's my thing, but everybody's got their own picks, you know? And let's see what we got. Oh, I screwed up here, guys. Sorry about that. All right, bam, good to go. All right, that's how we like it right there. I like my wires facing out. This will put me pretty close in gearing where I'm thinking I want to be. If they're on the top, let's just check it. So I'm going to keep it 100% real with you. don't have a 38, and that's where I'm gonna start. I know. Sounds a little wild, huh? Don't it? Yeah. But the fact of the matter is, this is what it is. So, this is a scorched one. Trying these out for David's. So let's see how it lines up there. I don't like it as far as where my wire placement is. See, I want my wires to be over this way because I want to have it on the ESC. So we're going to adjust it one more time. That's much better. All right, so that's where I kind of wanted to be. I want my wires coming straight out, but I want a big amount of gear to, mesh good. So I like it right there. That looks good. I think we're going to start with a 38 tooth pinion gear. All right. So put that aside for now because we don't need that in there. We're just gonna lock that bad boy on. Now, real quick, let me check this and make sure it's just tight. But I crank these on by hand tight, and I've never had one come loose. But yeah, man, I got a man hand twist there, So yeah, man, make sure you put it on there tight. If you don't want that thing to come off. But if you want to put Loctite on it, that's on you. I mean, it wouldn't hurt, but I don't know. I pop things. I move certain things in and out so much that I don't Loctite certain things. You know what I mean? So that's good. We're comfortable with that there. I like it. Bam. Motor in. On to the next step, right? So I like to run the scorched ones. Man, I think these are awesome. You know who else makes a really good one, and I'm talking about super strong too, is Saga. He makes it's like a low profile one, where this one is 90-degree angle facing, but Savora's is just it's like a block, and it takes the big heavy duty screws that you use on the chassis. And it's pretty cool. It's got a 2-point contact where this one has a 4-point contact. So it's I don't know. I think they're both good, to be honest with you. I like them both. But I didn't have one of his, and I happen to have one of these. So this is where we're going with it. Nothing wrong with either or. I'll use them both. But sometimes you just want to look at the prettiness of the carbon, you know what I mean? So we'll put this one on there because it looks cool. And then that'll go back here, and I'll put all that on. I'll screw all that, and then yeah, I guess we're just getting into the mount the ESC and do some wire work, and this thing's getting ready, man. We'll be ready to go. All right, guys. So now we got our XLX2 all set up. I did this last night. Basically, I got a ripple killer on here. I use ripple killers on all my cars. It's just an extra layer of protection. It's not going to give you speed. It's just going to give you an extra layer of support. When things get a little aggressive, the cat packs seem to help a little bit. With the XLX2s burning down. Don't get me wrong. This is not going to prevent you from it not igniting. Totally can. This is where you guys gotta don't see, it's tough talking about gearing, and it's tough to show you guys this, because what you all think you're going to be able to do is just throw that gear on there and go. I'm telling you right now, if you do not know what you're doing, you will burn your shit up. So, it is what it is, but I'm going to walk you through like protective measures, you know. And now this isn't something that is foolproof either. Don't get me wrong. You guys may very well, we may fire this up and it could be catastrophic, but I doubt it. I highly doubt it because of how long I've been doing this and what I've been doing and how I do it. That doesn't normally happen. So I add ripple killers to my ESCs. It helps. I believe it helps. It keeps all ripple down. And it is what it is. So when you're installing a ripple killer, you want to get it installed as close as you can to the circuit board. So best case scenario would be like right here, you know what I mean? But this is the way I like to set them up, and this is the way I do it. But to get the best effect out of them, it's to get them as close as you can to the circuit board. So all I got to do for here is drill some holes. We're not going to do that on camera, but what I do have is like a little jig I use, right? So get something, you guys, and you can just make yourself a little jig, you know, make the holes line up perfectly, right? And then you come over here and you stick it on there however you want. I do mine like this in the corner. I don't know if you can see that. Let me see if I can get a little bit closer. Get out the way. I run mine just like this so that I know the spacing between, you know, where my motor sits, where my ESC, I just know all that stuff where I want it. So this is how I do it. And then I will basically hold it in place right where I want it, make sure it does not move. I will put my punch in and punch it. So once I do that, then I'll have my marks for drilling. Oh, see that one moves. All the marks look good. Do one more there. I like that one. Okay, bam. Yeah, I can see them all good. So now I have the marks there. I can drill it. And like I said, that's just how I do mine. Everybody's got their own way of doing it. That seems to work the best for me. And sometimes the drill runs a little bit, but that's what the punch is good for. It puts like a pretty nice indent in it so that you can screw it all together. So now you can countersink all this stuff. I don't know. I guess if you wanted to get like super picky about it, you could. These are like little screws, you know, so I don't really go too crazy about it. What I like to do is just get them started. That one ain't started. It's kind of like hard to do all this on camera without like looking straight on with it and stuff. Yeah, I mean, this is a whole new experience right here. I think over time I'll get better at it and like faster and all that good stuff. But for now, it just is what it is. Get this tight. There we go. All right. So now, oh, here it is. Now we got our ESC on there. Tighten that bad boy down. Got our motor on there. What else? Yeah, like I said, you could totally countersink these, but they don't really stick off that much. A little bit. Good, or you can use the button heads. Man, that went stripped out. I don't like that. That's why I shouldn't have used that hardware. Like I said, I like using my own hardware. But bam, and now that's in and ready. And we got our servo on there. We got our motor on there. We got the ESC on there. We're in good shape, right? Yeah, everything's nice and straight. Looks good. So, what do we got left? All right. So we're going to talk about these last little things. These are just wheel caps I forgot to put on the front there. Let's get that crap out of here and get that out of the way. You know, them in. So we got everything finished off, right? Now, like I said, I don't have this servo screwed on yet. It's just like sitting on it, you know what I mean? So, bam. What do we got left? We got our receiver. This is a rebuilt one, actually. Let me see something here. I wanted to use, yeah, right here. So, these ones right here. Yeah, bam. All right, boom. This is the top mount one, top loadout. This one is not the true number right there. This is, I just threw it in a box to, after I fix the antennas. Sometimes I'll throw them back in a box and throw them in my tool, my bag for when I'm out there in the field. But this is like the back mount ones. The front mount ones, I like these ones where it's like all top loaded, you know? So that's good. We're not gonna leave it outside the box. I always put mine in the box. I wash my cars sometimes, and I just like using the box, you know what I mean? Sometimes people don't, but I like all my stuff to be real clean. Not necessarily talking about like clean from dirt, but more like just clean built. Like when I have this whole thing done, said and done, like, you know, I want it to be looking so simple and just, I want to be able to see problems out of the way. I don't want chaos all over. I don't want wires all twisty tied and zip tied all over the place. I use loom. I like to keep it. Sometimes I do it for looks, but like 9 times out of 10, I do black loom because it just blends in with the car, and I don't want to see them things. I want to see where the important things are. So it's like visual chaos, you know. When I'm out there in the field and I'm thinking I'm trying to tune the car to gain and get a lot faster, I don't want chaos, you know what I mean? If something's broken, I want to be able to easily see it, kind of thing, you know what I mean? So like all these little things with like wiring and keeping it clean and neat, that is going to help you out in the field. It really is. I know it might sound a little off the wall, but the fact of the matter is the less chaos you're seeing, the more clear, you know, the car is going to look, and you're going to see things wrong with it. But there shouldn't really be anything wrong with it. I don't know. I'm kind of babbling. But for me, this is just something that works for me, and it helps me, you know. We are going to use a quick connect. This is a duo. Raz has sent me another quick connect. Something happened with the damn mail. It got freaking shipped somewhere else. I don't know. It's freaking annoying, but I have a duo right here. I was going to put this, I'm not even going to bother. I'm just going to wait. So we are going to have a quick connect on here. And the only reason why I'm showing you this duo is because I'm going to show you how to hook it all up. Just imagine this being a quick connect and not a duo. The duo, only difference is it's got the extra prongs there, and what is it, one extra thing on it? I don't even know. Yeah, the auxiliary. Well, we're not even going to be using that, so I'm almost like ready to just like cut it off to show you just how to install it. But I gotta wait for that. So we got our launch control, perfect pass, man. This is an important tool. I know. Now listen, This is what's going to prevent you from blowing this car up if you build it and you don't know what you're doing. This is going to save it. 110% going to save your car from blowing up. Now, the reason why I'm saying that is what this does is it takes your acceleration from 0 to 100%. So in whatever time you want to set it to. I think it goes up to 12 seconds or 10 or something like that. But what it does is it creates a perfect linear line of acceleration where your finger cannot replicate. It is impossible. You know, you could get it kind of smooth as a computer, you know what I mean? Now, this isn't taken away from anything of you driving, because the way we set this up is that, you know, we get on it and let it go, and it acts just like your finger. And I'm going to show you something about this. What you're doing is you're going to be doing it with your finger, but this is going to add it to smooth it in. I don't want you to just go out there and then bam, pull the trigger and hold it and expect a good run. You know what I mean? Like, that's not how we're doing this. It's not going to work like that. Now, if you were like geared like really low, not really low, but if you were like geared low and it wasn't aggressive and stuff like that, yeah, you could absolutely do something like that. You know what I mean? But this car has so much torque and is going to be so friggin' fast that you cannot do that. It's just, it's going to, no, it ain't going to work. You will break your shit. So we're going to like talk about all that and set that up. I don't even know if I should just keep going through this, like with the electronics, like showing you that kind of stuff. Like, I don't think it makes too, like, you guys know how to hook shit up, you know what I mean? We're going to talk about gearing and all that stuff, but I don't think we need to go on and on about this wire. So I'm going to do, like, that whole fucking whoop out, and there you go.